Okay, let's talk about Lily Tomlin's relationship with John Travolta. John Travolta is my illegitimate child. Lily Tomlin is one of America's greatest comedians and a legend of stage, TV, and film. But under the bright lights of Hollywood, she kept the most important part of her life a secret: her decades-long relationship with writer Jane Wagner. At a time when Hollywood wasn't ready to accept an openly gay actress, Tomlin chose to stay quiet, not because she was afraid, but because she didn't want to let her career be limited to a single label. More than 40 years later, she could finally hold the hand of the woman she loved in public. But the price of that silence was high. She had to deal with a lot of stress, deep pain, and the threat of losing both her career and her love. Was it the right choice, or was it just a dangerous gamble? Lily Tomlin was born on September 1, 1939, right as World War II started. She grew up in a small apartment complex with only 40 units. Each apartment in Detroit, Michigan had its own story, voice, and way of life. Tomlin and Lily May were working-class people from Kentucky who moved to Detroit during the Great Depression to find a better life. Her father worked in a factory and her mother was a nurse and homemaker. Aker was very devoted to her family. Tomlin had a natural talent for imitating others' voices, mannerisms, and quirks from a very young age. She could imitate them with uncanny accuracy. While other kids played with dolls or kicked a ball around, Tomlin spent her time imitating the speech, body language, and personalities of the kids around her. This would become the basis of her unique comedic style. Even though she grew up in a Southern Baptist family, Tomlin never really felt connected to religion. As she got older, she slowly moved away from faith and became an atheist, which was different from what her parents believed. She had a younger brother named Richard Tomlin, but Lily was always the bravest person in the family, even when she was young. At first, she never imagined herself as a performer. Tomlin went to Cass Technical High School and then Wayne State University, where she majored in biology to become a doctor. But instead of being interested in anatomy textbooks, she found herself drawn to the university's theater productions. One audition changed everything. When she stepped on stage, she felt a thrill she had never felt before. In a bold and risky move at the time, she quit medicine to pursue the arts. She continued her acting studies at HB Studio in New York, where she was introduced to the work of the legendary monologist Ruth Draper. Draper was more than just a performer. She was a master of transformation, able to embody multiple characters using only her voice and gestures. This deeply influenced Tomlin, shaping the one-woman show format that would define her stage career. But before she could reach Broadway or national TV, Tomlin had to fight to get her show on air. To make ends meet, she started doing stand-up comedy in Detroit nightclubs before making the important decision to move to New York in search of better job opportunities. She worked as a waitress at Howard Johnson's on Broadway, which was a famous restaurant chain at the time. But even in a boring job, Tomlin couldn't control her natural desire to perform. She would grab the microphone and crack jokes with customers, turning their meals into an unexpected comedy show. People came not only for the food, but also for the show. Lily Tomlin didn't have a clear path to success when she started out in the 1960s. She started out in small comedy clubs in New York, where she performed every night for a small crowd and made just enough to pay her rent. But Tomlin was different from other comedians because she didn't just tell jokes. She created characters based on the voices, mannerisms, and attitudes of people she had observed. This made her stand out in a comedy scene that was full of imitators. In 1970, NBC asked Tomlin to join the comedy show Laugh-In. At first, she wasn't interested in TV because she thought that strict scripts would kill her creativity, but a meeting with producer George Schlatter changed her mind. Schlatter not only understood Tomlin's unique style, but he also gave her creative freedom, which wasn't common for TV performers at the time. Tomlin quickly created a series of unforgettable comedic characters, the most famous of whom was Edith Ann, was a precocious 5-year-old girl who sat on an oversized chair and made snide comments about the adult world. Edith Ann was almost taken off the show because producers thought she was too mischievous and might not appeal to mainstream audiences. Tomlin refused to accept that she performed Edith Ann live in front of them using a unique speech pattern inspired by a real child she had met, blending innocence with a sly, knowing humor. Within weeks, Edith Ann became a hit, and Tomlin kept making her. Mark in the recording industry in 1971, she released the comedy album This Is a Recording of her signature monologues. The album was a commercial success and won her a Grammy for Best Comedy Album, which was an amazing feat for a female comedian at the time. After conquering TV and audio recordings, Tomlin set her sights on Broadway in 1977, where she started her one-woman show and played a wide range of roles, from a cranky old woman to a gruff taxi driver. Using only her voice and performance style with no co-stars or fancy sets, Tomlin captivated and entertained the audience, making them laugh out loud. The show's huge success was the start of Tomlin's illustrious stage career. From a small club comedian, she became a star on TV, in comedy recordings, and on Broadway, an achievement that few in the entertainment industry could match. Lily Tomlin didn't just succeed, she changed what a comedian could do. Lily Tomlin, from being a stand-up comedian to getting an Oscar nomination for her first movie in 1975, she proved herself to be a powerful performer in movies, TV shows, and on Broadway. At first, Tomlin wasn't sure that the role of Lenore Rhee, a gospel singer and mother of two deaf children, would be right for her. She wanted a character with a more distinct personality. But Altman persuaded her that Lana, a mother of two deaf children, would allow her to showcase her wide range of emotions. Despite only having a few minutes of screen time, Tomlin gave such an amazing performance that she was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress. This was an amazing feat for someone who had never been in a movie before. After the success of Nashville, Tomlin didn't rush into more movie projects. Instead, she carefully chose the roles she would play. In 1980, she starred in 9 to 5 with Jane Fonda and Dolly Parton. This wasn't your average comedy. It was a sharp look at gender roles in the workplace. Tomlin felt her performance wasn't up to par on the first day of filming and wanted to quit. She was even willing to return her paycheck to leave the project. But after watching the footage the next day, she realized she had done a great job. 9 to 5 1980 became a box office hit, making over $13 million in the US, which was a big number at the time. The movie struck a chord with audiences because of its sharp humor and biting commentary on workplace discrimination. With Tomlin, Fonda, and Parton, 9 to 5 was more than just entertainment. It became a cultural landmark that helped move the feminist movement forward in both film and society. At the height of her career, Tomlin continued to push herself with new and difficult roles. In 1988, she starred with Bette Midler in Big Business as twins who were switched at birth. The film used complicated split-screen techniques, and both actresses had to change clothes all the time to play two different characters in the same scene. Filming was very hard. Big Business was praised for the great comedic chemistry between its two leads. Tomlin also left an indelible mark on Broadway in 1985 when she opened the one-woman show Search for Signs of Intelligent Life in the Universe, written by Jane Wagner, who would later become her lifelong partner. This production was unlike anything that had come before it, as Tomlin played dozens of characters, from a homeless woman to a social activist, all in an effort to explore and reflect on the humanity. The play mixed humor and philosophy, raising deep questions about the meaning of life, human connection, and cultural values. Tomlin's ability to change into any character like a chameleon won her a lot of praise, and the search for intelligent life in the universe became a Broadway classic. With just her voice, body language, and expressions, and no fancy costumes or co-stars, she could make people laugh, cry, and think about the world around them. The Search for Signs of Intelligent Life in the Universe won Tomlin her second Tony Award and was hailed as one of the best stage productions of its time. Its success further cemented her status as a true artist who can change things in an infinite number of ways on stage. Having conquered both film and theater, Tomlin expanded her career into voice acting. In 1994, she became the voice of M. Frizzle, the crazy but lovable science teacher on the Magic School Bus. Tomlin gave Ms. Frizzle an exciting and curious voice that inspired kids through imaginative educational adventures. Her performance helped make Ms. Frizzle one of the most beloved teachers in the history of children's television, which brought Tomlin to a whole new generation of fans. In addition to her artistic achievements, Tomlin was also honored for her work in the entertainment industry and for women's rights in 2002 by director David O. Russell. The Women's Image Network gave her the Lifetime Achievement Award, which was more than just an honor. It was a recognition of how she changed the way women were portrayed in the entertainment industry. However, soon after she received the award, her relationship with Russell became the subject of a heated controversy. In 2004, Tom starred in I Heart Huckabees, a movie directed by David O. Russell. During filming, the two got into a heated argument that got so bad that a behind-the-scenes video of their fight was released. When the confrontation was posted online, the video quickly went viral, eliciting a range of reactions about Russell's directing style and Tomlin's response. However, Tomlin surprised many by stating that she was still willing to work with Russell again, proving that she was dedicated to her career and had been successful for decades in the fiercely competitive music business. Tomlin continued to show her lasting appeal when she reunited with Jane Fonda for the Netflix sitcom Grace and Frankie in 2015. The show was about two women whose husbands leave them after they tell them they are gay and in love with each other. And no one expected Grace and Frankie to become one of Netflix's most popular sitcoms. But it did, running for an impressive 7 seasons from 2015 to 2022. Beyond its humor, the show sent a strong message about friendship. Lily Tomlin has done it all. Movies, TV shows, voice acting, and even controversy since the 1970s. More than 50 years have passed and she's still going strong. Which of Lily Tomlin's roles impressed you the most? Was it the passionate Ms. Frizzle, the smart Violet in 9 to 5, or one of the many different characters she brought to life on stage? Tell us what made that performance unforgettable for you. Lily Tomlin is one of America's greatest actresses. Many people knew she was a comedian, but not many knew she had to hide her love for years because Hollywood wasn't ready for an openly gay female artist. Tomlin had to make the painful decision to either hide her relationship to protect her career or live openly and risk losing everything. It all started in March 1971 when she was looking for a writer to help her develop the script for her new comedy album. Jane Wagner's name stood out as a talented writer known for her sharp intellect and elegant style. Storytelling, but Tomlin had no idea that this meeting would not only lead to a creative partnership but also completely change her life. As soon as she saw Jane walk into the room, Lily Tomlin knew she was in love. She couldn't take her eyes off the woman with the confident attitude, piercing eyes, and irresistible smile. It took me a whole week to work up the courage to text her, but the moment we met, I knew I was already drawn in, she later said. To Tomlin's surprise, she booked a flight back to New York right after the show just to see Jane again. I called Jane as soon as I landed and said, "I don't have much time, but I have to see you," she said. Tomlin remembered that one evening was all it took for them to become a couple. The 1970s were not an easy time for an actress to come out, especially in Hollywood, where everything she had built could fall apart with a single confession. Tomlin knew that if she told anyone about her relationship with Jane, it could ruin her career in an instant. Besides professional worries, there was a more personal problem. Her mother was a strict Southern Baptist who had never accepted anything that wasn't the norm. If Tomlin told her mother about her relationship with Jane, her mother would never understand and might never forgive her. So, Tomlin chose to stay quiet. She and Jane were together, but they always kept a safe distance. Jane was only ever seen as a creative partner or close friend in public. They worked together on projects and wrote scripts, but no one knew they were actually dating. By 1975, Hollywood was starting to change, but prejudice was still strong. Time magazine made Tomlin an unexpected offer. They would put her on the cover if she came out publicly. It was a huge chance for her to become one of the first openly gay entertainers in the business, but she turned it down. At the time, I felt like they weren't really interested in me as an artist. They just wanted a sensational story. Later, Tomlin explained her choice, saying she didn't want her career to be reduced to a headline. She wanted to be known for her talent, not her sexual orientation. For years, Tomlin and Jane Wagner kept their relationship a secret from Tomlin's mother. Jane was always introduced as a close friend and a trusted collaborator, and my mother adored Jane, but Tomlin said she knew that telling her mother the truth would break her heart. So she waited until after her mother had died to tell the world the truth. It wasn't an easy choice, but for her it was the only way to stay true to herself while protecting the woman she loved most. Even though they had to hide their love for decades, Tomlin and Wagner stayed together. They were partners in both life and art, making timeless works together through every challenge. Tomlin and Wagner were together for 42 years before they were finally able to get married in 2013. When same-sex marriage became legal in California, they chose to have a small, private ceremony at a friend's house. Tomlin smiled as she remembered the moment. "We didn't have wedding rings, so I had to rummage through my jewelry box to find something symbolic. I told Jane we have to have rings. It was a simple moment, but a perfect ending to their long and difficult journey. When Lily Tomlin and Jane Wagner officially tied the knot, longtime fans who had been wondering about the truth for decades could finally celebrate in public. The media praised the event as both a personal triumph and a historic moment for Hollywood, where once hidden love stories could now be honored. The LGBTQ+ community was especially moved by the event. Tomlin was not only a legend on stage, she was living proof of how far the world had come. One fan wrote on social media, "We've known they belong." Even though they had been together for a long time, seeing them finally tie the knot after 42 years is truly beautiful. Tomlin and Wagner won after 4 decades of secrecy and loving in the shadows. There were no scandals or public drama, just a love that stood the test of time. Looking back, Tomlin never regretted her decisions. She had protected her career, her mother, and most importantly, her love. "We've been together for so long that I can't imagine my life without Jane. She understands me better than anyone else." The love story of Lily Tomlin and Jane Wagner isn't just a Hollywood romance. It's proof that love doesn't have to be loud. It just needs to be strong enough to last. What do you think about Lily Tomlin's choice to keep her love and career private for over 40 years? Do you agree with her decision, or do you think she should have come out sooner? Share your thoughts. Lily Tomlin is a trailblazer who used laughter to challenge societal norms. And she didn't just make people laugh, she also used Cal to bring attention to issues like feminism, class inequality, and larger political and social issues. Tomlin's legacy isn't just defined by the many awards she won, it's also defined by the huge impact she had on artists who came after her. In 2003, she received the Mark Twain Prize for American Humor, which is one of the highest honors a comedian can receive. But what made her stand out was how she used Cal to bring attention to important issues. Not only did she win awards, but she also used comedy as a way to speak out against injustice. One of her most memorable roles was as a homeless woman in The Search for Intelligent Life in the Universe, where she played a number of characters to show how flawed society is. From a homeless woman to a social activist, Tomlin used humor to make people laugh and think. She brought this same spirit to her TV and movie work, especially in 99 to 5, a sharp satire on the oppressive work culture that Tomlin's 5-decade career paved the way for female comedians like Tina Fey, Amy Poe, and Ellen DeGeneres. When she first started out in comedy, it was a male-dominated field, but she not only survived, she changed it, showing that women could be both hilariously funny and profoundly insightful while leaving a lasting mark. In 2014, she was honored with the Kennedy Center Honors, which puts her in the same category as legends like Tom Hanks and Sing. Lily Tomlin's undeniable legacy is that she used comedy to bring about real social change. Not many comedians can say that they have done that, but Lily Tomlin did. She didn't just make people laugh, she made them think, and that, more than any trophy or title, is the most important thing she left behind in popular culture. At 85, Lily Tomlin is still as energetic and passionate about her work as ever, but she has slowed down to enjoy her well-earned legacy. Still working on big projects, one of her most recent was Moving on 2023, in which she reunited with Jane Fonda to bring the story of 2 strong women to the big screen. Even though they haven't worked together in more than 50 years, the two continue to make movies together that send strong messages about friendship and women's independence. On January 9, 2025, Tomlin added to her legacy by taking part in the hand and footprint ceremony at the TCL Chinese Theater in Los Angeles, an honor only given to entertainment legends. She also performed stand-up comedy all year long, showing that age doesn't affect her creative drive. There have been rumors that Tomlin, Jane Fonda, and Dolly Parton may work together again on a project in 2025, which has excited fans. While there has been no official confirmation, the idea of the famous 905 trio working together again would be a monumental event. Outside of their artistic careers, Tomlin and Fonda have become strong voices in social activism, and they often appear together. Together, at protests for climate action, women's rights, and LGBTQ+ equality, they have become more than just Hollywood stars. They have become fearless activists who use their power to make real change. Tomlin showed no signs of slowing down as she continued to be a presence at major events, whether it was to accept honorary awards or talk about her career in the arts. With a career that has lasted more than 60 years and is still going strong, she is not only a legend on stage, but also a lasting symbol of strength. Not only is Lily Tomlin a famous comedian, she is also a cultural icon and a woman who broke down barriers in the entertainment industry with a career that included TV, theater, and movies. She has won many prestigious awards and changed the way people think about women in comedy. Her 50-year love story with Jane Wagner is a rare and beautiful example of unwavering devotion in the ever-changing world of Hollywood. Tomlin's legacy is not just written in stone, not just the parts she played, but also the doors she opened, paving the way for a new era where women are no longer on the sidelines, but take center stage. Lily Tomlin's legacy will continue to shine as a lasting reminder of strength, reinvention, and love. If her story has inspired you, don't miss the chance to continue this journey with us by subscribing to see more emotional and unexpected stories. See you in the next video.